Preparing for a candidate Oracle Fusion technical interview? You've reached Candy Mentor, and this video is for you. We'll walk through 15 key questions you're likely to face. For each question, you'll see a sample answer, followed by the key points to cover. Subscribe, like, and share, and drop a topic request in the comments. Question 1. How do you explain Oracle Fusion architecture from a technical consultant perspective? Oracle Fusion is a SaaS ERP, HCM, SCM suite built on Oracle Fusion middleware and a common data model. Technically, I think in layers: UI pages, application services, metadata, security, workflows, reporting, and integration endpoints. Customization is mostly configuration-driven through flex fields, page composer, sandboxes, BI publisher, OTBI, and approved APIs. Because it is SaaS, I avoid database-level changes and use supported extension points so upgrades stay safe. While answering, focus on Fusion SaaS architecture, supported extension points, metadata-driven configuration, common modules, reporting and integration layers, and why direct database customization is avoided. Question 2. When would you use BI Publisher instead of OTBI in Oracle Fusion? OTBI is best for real-time ad hoc analytics using subject areas and secured business views. BI Publisher is better for pixel-perfect documents, complex SQL data models, bursting, and scheduled outputs like invoices or payslips. In interviews, I usually say, OTBI answers analytical questions quickly, while BIP produces operational documents. If a requirement needs exact layout, multiple data sources, or delivery by email/SFTP, I choose BI Publisher. Make sure to cover OTBI subject areas, BI Publisher data models and layouts, scheduling, bursting, security, performance considerations, and practical criteria for choosing one reporting tool over the other. Question 3. What is the difference between FBDI, ADFdi, and HDL? FBDI refers to file-based data import. ADFdi is Application Development Framework Data Load Import, and HDL stands for HCM Data Loader. Each is a tool for importing data into Oracle Cloud applications, but differs in use cases, data types, and configuration methods. FBDI is the file-based bulk import pattern used across ERP modules. I prepare data in Oracle templates, generate CSV or zip files, upload them to UCM, then run the scheduled import ESS jobs. ADFdi is spreadsheet-based online entry with validation, useful for business users. In HCM, HDL is the standard bulk loader for workforce objects. My key point is choosing the tool based on volume, module, validation needs, and repeatability. In your answer, compare FBDI, ADFdi, and HDL, including file formats, upload flow, validation behavior, module fit, volume suitability, and how errors are reviewed after import. Question 4. How do you troubleshoot a failed ESS job in Oracle Fusion? ESS is Oracle Fusion's scheduling framework for imports, reports, workflows, and batch processes. When a job fails, I first check the process log, output file, parameters, and child requests. Then I validate source data, privileges, set up dependencies, and whether another process has locked the same records. For recurring issues, I capture request IDs, compare with a successful run, and use diagnostic logs or Oracle support evidence instead of guessing. Be sure to mention ESS request hierarchy, parameters, log and output files, child jobs, common failure causes, locks, permissions, and a structured troubleshooting approach using request IDs. Question 5. Can you explain DFF, EFF, and KFF with examples? Flex fields let me extend Fusion data without changing base tables. Key flex fields model structured identifiers like accounting combinations. Descriptive flex fields add extra attributes to existing entities, and extensible flex fields support richer, context-sensitive extensions. I define segments, value sets, contexts, validations, and deployment. The biggest interview point is governance. Name segments clearly, avoid overusing global segments, secure sensitive fields, and test reporting impact after deployment in OTBI. While answering, explain DFF, EFF, and KFF differences, segments, contexts, value sets, deployment, reporting impact, and governance practices that keep extensions maintainable across environments safely. Question 6. How does security work in Oracle Fusion applications? Fusion security is role-based and layered. Job roles describe what a user does. Duty roles group privileges. Data roles restrict which business data the user can access. And abstract roles cover common identities like employee. I troubleshoot by checking assigned roles, role hierarchy, data security policies, and security profiles. For least privilege, I clone cautiously, document changes, run user comparison reports, and retest transactions plus reports. Make sure to cover job, duty, data, and abstract roles, role hierarchies, data security policies, security profiles, least privilege, and how to troubleshoot missing access. Question 7. What integration options are available in Oracle Fusion Cloud? For integrations, I start with the supported API catalog, REST for modern CRUD and lightweight flows, SOAP for older enterprise services, FBDI HDL for bulk, and BICC for extracts. OIC is usually the orchestration layer for mapping, scheduling, error handling, and connectivity. I never integrate directly with SaaS tables. I design for item potency, pagination, rate limits, callback handling, and clear reconciliation so failures are recoverable. In your answer, discuss REST, SOAP, FBDI, HDL, BICC, and OIC, plus authentication, error handling, pagination, throttling, item potency, and avoiding unsupported direct database access patterns. Question 8. What is BICC, and how is it different from OTBI extracts? BICC is meant for high-volume data extraction from Fusion using public view objects, usually feeding a warehouse or data lake. OTBI is for secured analytics and dashboards, not heavy replication. With BICC, I configure offerings, select PVOs, set incremental keys, schedule extracts, and deliver files to UCM or object storage. The tricky part is understanding joins, deletes, initial loads, and validating row counts downstream carefully. Be sure to distinguish analytics from extraction. Explain BICC PVOs, incremental loads, scheduling, file delivery, downstream warehouse and use cases, and validation of row counts carefully. Question 9. How do sandboxes and Page Composer work in Oracle Fusion? Sandboxes isolate configuration changes before they reach the mainline environment. I use them for Page Composer changes, FlexField UI exposure, personalization, and some metadata updates. A good process is create sandbox, make one logical change set, test with target roles, publish, and migrate through configuration packages where applicable. I avoid heavy page changes because quarterly updates can alter UI behavior. Supported minimal personalization is safer. While answering, focus on sandboxes, Page Composer, personalization scope, publishing, migration considerations, role-based testing, quarterly update safety, and keeping UI customizations minimal and documented properly. Question 10. How would you configure and troubleshoot approval rules in Oracle Fusion? Approval rules in Fusion are usually configured in BPM worklist or transaction-specific approval setup. I define conditions, stages, participants, routing rules, and escalation behavior based on attributes like amount, department, supplier, or position hierarchy. For troubleshooting, I check the transaction history, rule effective dates, payload values, and whether the approver has proper roles. I keep rules simple because overlapping conditions create hard-to-debug routing surprises later. Make sure to cover BPM worklist, approval stages, participants, routing conditions, hierarchies, escalations, payload attributes, effective dates, transaction history, and avoiding overlapping approval rules carefully. Question 11. What best practices do you follow while writing SQL for BI Publisher reports? In BI Publisher, SQL should be correct, secure, and performant. I use bind parameters, avoid unnecessary functions on indexed columns, filter early, and return only fields needed by the layout. I also respect Fusion security by using supported views or secured objects where required. For complex reports, I break logic into datasets, test explainable joins, handle nulls, and validate totals against the application screen carefully. In your answer, discuss BI Publisher data models, SQL joins, bind parameters, secured views, performance tuning, null handling, layout dependencies, and reconciliation against application totals. Question 12. What is bursting in BI Publisher, and where have you used it? Bursting solves a common operational need: generate one report and distribute personalized outputs to many recipients. In BI Publisher, I create a bursting query that returns delivery channel, recipient, output format, locale, template, and key values matching the data split. Typical uses are payslips, statements, invoices, and supplier notifications. The main risks are wrong recipient mapping and unsecured attachments, so I validate sample outputs before scheduling. Be sure to mention bursting control queries, delivery channels, split keys, templates, output formats, scheduling, recipient security, testing samples, and common use cases like invoices or payslips. Question 13. How do you load employee or assignment data using HDL? HDL loads HCM business objects using structured .dat files with metadata, keys, and object components. I usually start with a small sample from HCM extract or generated business object templates, then load in stages: workers, assignments, contacts, salaries, or user data depending on dependencies. Error handling means reading the HDL log, correcting source keys, dates, and reference values. For repeat loads, source system owner keys are critical. While answering, explain HDL.dat structure, business object components, source keys, load sequencing, reference data, data effectiveness, log analysis, and strategies for repeatable HCM loads. Question 14. How do quarterly updates affect Oracle Fusion technical objects? Quarterly updates are a core SaaS reality, so technical work must be upgrade safe. Before each update, I review readiness documents, deprecated features, REST API changes, BI subject area changes, and known issues. Then I regression test integrations, reports, approvals, security roles, and critical transactions in the test pod. I keep customizations lightweight and documented, because unsupported workarounds are usually what break during updates. That discipline saves outages. Make sure to cover readiness documents, regression testing, integrations, reports, security, approval flows, deprecated features, test pods, documentation, and why upgrade safe customization matters in SaaS. Question 15. How would you design an inbound supplier invoice integration into Oracle Fusion Payables? For an inbound invoice integration, I would choose FBDI or REST based on volume and real-time needs. High-volume batches go through FBDI, map source fields, validate suppliers, sites, tax, distributions, upload to UCM, run import ESS jobs, and reconcile rejects. Real-time flows can use REST through OIC. I would add idempotency with invoice number and supplier, centralized error handling, audit logs, and business-friendly retry processes. In your answer, describe API selection, FBDI versus REST, OIC orchestration, validation rules, ESS imports, UCM upload, reconciliation, idempotency, audit logging, and retry strategy design. If you are still with us, congratulations. You are much ahead of the rest and serious about preparing for your interview. We hope we were able to add value to your preparation and create some helpful content. Do not forget to like and share this video. Your small act can do great things for us.